today we're going to be showing you how to take off a Stage 3 spoiler and replace it with a ZR1 spoiler. Hi everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Scott and this is my buddy Terry, and we're going to be showing you how to take off a Stage 3 spoiler on a Stingray Corvette and replace it with a ZR1 style spoiler. Now, Extreme Online Store is sponsoring the channel today, and this is their new prototype. This is going to be coming out in the stores here real soon, and you're going to be able to get your hands on this, and this is just beautiful. It looks just like a real ZR1 spoiler, except for a fraction of the cost. So we're going to be showing you how it goes on, and a lot of this is like I said, a prototype. So there is no written instructions, and we're actually helping them get this dialed in, so we'll be able to make sure that when you guys get yours, that you guys will have the instructions on exactly how it's done. They've already done it in their shop, but they're sending it out to us so we can do it and see if what their thoughts on how to install it and how it's done goes along with on how ours works. They've done the very first one on a 2019. We're doing this on a 2014. So they've assured us that all the bracketry should fit just fine, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to check that out.
We're going to find out.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the good thing for me, right, is the fact that Terry has a machine shop right here. So if we do have something that's a little bit off, he'll be able to straighten that out for us, right? So I would never attempted this in my garage on a prototype, but us doing this for you guys on film today, you guys are going to be able to see what it's like to do it. And that way, if we don't have any issues, neither are you.
Have any.
Okay? So sit back, relax, watch the show. We'll try to get you the best views that we can and show you exactly what we're doing, so it won't be guesswork. You'll know exactly how to do it, on whether or not you want to do this for yourself, or if you want to call us and have us do it for you, okay? So thanks for watching, and here we go. Alright guys, before we get started, I just wanted to show you, Terry and I, we went ahead and we took all of the parts and all the hardware and we put it together so you can see exactly what we're going to be putting on the car. So you can see the uprights over there, and then you can see that the risers. Now right here is where the bumper is actually going to go. So we're going to end up having to cut a hole through the top of my bumper. After we take the third brake light out, we're going to have to be cutting a hole through my bumper so this can rise up, and then this can sandwich the two pieces down. So you can see all the different bracketry there that has to go together. So you'll have to put all that together, but it comes with all the hardware, and it comes with everything already pre-threaded. So it's just a matter of putting it together. So if you like erector sets, there you go. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into tearing the bumper apart and getting this stuff put on it. So guys, if you haven't seen one of our videos before on changing a spoiler from a Z51 over to a Stage 3, you could go back and you look at that one. You can also, we're doing it here. We'll kind of glaze over this part of it because this isn't really the main part of what we're doing. But in order to be able to get the bumper and the spoiler off, we've got to be able to take these back screws off, and those are protected by that little trim cover. And then at that point, we take these screws out, and then we'll be able to pull the rest of the screws out of the back side of the bumper, and then we'll get the bumper cover off. At that point, we'll get the cover off of it. We'll be able to put the back bumper up on a table, and then we'll be able to operate on the changing the spoiler out and getting the spoiler cap, the new spoiler cap, put in place, so we'll know exactly where to cut the holes. As well as at that point it will open up the back end of the car so we can go ahead and put the bracketry on. So there's a lot of little steps to this, but we'll just go step by step.
All right, there's 3 bolts under here. There's these 2. And this one here. And you got one right here, the one on the inside. There's 3 of them on this side. It's the one on the inside, like the odd guy. You got to do the same thing on the other side. There's actually 3 screws you got to take out on the bottom. And after that, we'll take the other ones off the other side and then film right in here and show them you have to take them 2 off for the.
And you've got the 2 10mm bolts right there. Okay.
Then we'll take the ones out of the exhaust when we get these out. Looks like you've been driving in gravel, stuff falling out of here.
I know, right?
And you take the one on the inside, right here.
Now the reason we're taking this particular screw loose here is we've got to be able to pull the mud guards out of the wheel wells so we can get to the side. There's a screw up inside the wheel wells that we're.
And there's that part. Then there's 1, 2 screws right here that you need to take out. We're actually doing this without lifting it up because there's only these few bolts. And then we're going to be doing most of the work at ground level. So you really don't need a lift to do this.
No, Alright. Now comes some of the fun stuff. I know this is part that I always end up having to do because Terry doesn't want to do it, and it's to take these little guys off. So I'm going to be putting some masking tape across here like so, and then we'll use the nylon pry tool to be able to get it all off. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm just putting some masking tape down. You don't have to use this color masking tape, just any masking tape, but you want to use some along here because you don't want to be scratching or chipping your paint. So I just put a couple layers of it, so just you have that protection, and you're getting it right up against the paint and your the trim plate. Okay. Then at that point, just going to get in here like so, and we can pry it out. Hopefully, see if I can get over to the side over here so you can see it a little bit better. Just like so. Just like that. Just take your time, you know, don't He-Man it, just take your time with it, it will come. The reason we're having to pull this loose is because there's one screw that's located right, drop this back here. There's another screw that's right up located up in his corner, and that's how we'll be able to get the bumper loose from there. We're also going to have to do that on this side over here also.
You get pretty good at that, huh?
Yeah, I still get the heebie-jeebies every time I do it though.
That's why I let you do it.
That's why I tell everybody, just don't He-Man it, just take your time, use a little finesse, it'll be okay. It probably doesn't hurt any that this has been off a few times. It comes out a little bit easier. We've done enough of these, Terry and I have done enough of these, that some they just come right out. Some of them they're a little bit tough, so just, like I said, take your time and it will come loose. There we go. And then we've got one more screw up here. So you want to be careful here, especially when you're putting it back together. I mean, if you were to drop this screw when you're taking it out, it's a 7mm screw here. If you drop it taking the bumper apart, you're probably going to be able to find it. But if you're putting it back together, you don't want to have to take the bumper apart to get to this screw, so just make sure you use 2 hands. And you'll get it out. Same thing with this one over here. Now we're using a nut driver. You could use a ratchet or something like that with an extension. Okay. Now that one's loose. So now we've got all of our screws up across the top of the bumper loose. We've got our 2 screws here. Got our covers off. We've got our 2 screws on the right below in the very bottom, as well as the mud guards off, and our 2 screws in the fender wells that have been removed. So at this point, this bumper should be able to come right off. So now we're gonna take a box here, and we're gonna be able to pull the bumper off. We're gonna be able to set it down so it's not pulling against the wires. We're gonna have to take now. Normally, in all of our other videos you've seen us do this, that we can just take it, we move it, we can remove the tail lights and then change the spoiler out, right? On this particular one, we are going to have to take it completely loose because we've got a lot more work to do on this one, because the cap that goes on actually has holes for the risers for the wing itself. So we're going to have to move the bumper off, we're going to have to take the tail lights out of the system, the bumper, then we're going to have to remove this spoiler itself. Then we've got to put that, get the other cap on so we can mark our holes on where that's going to go. And we also have to actually work on the back of the car itself. So we can't have all this wiring hanging in our way. So we are actually going to have to disconnect everything this time off of the car and remove the bumper entirely, and then we'll set that off to the side. So, but at this point, I think we should be able to go ahead and pull it loose now. I think we've got all of our screws loose, so let's see if we can get them.
Let's see, I'm off over here. How you doing? Now try it. There you go. There we go. Let me hold it and you start doing your unplugging.
Okay. Alright guys, so we've got a couple different plugs here that we've got to disconnect. Now, this little guy should pull out like so. Yeah.
No,
there we go. There we go. There it goes. Okay. There we go. Just like that. So guys, you have to find this happy spot, and then you press down on the black part. So it's like there's just a real perfect spot when you pull that out, and then push down in the black and then it will pull out of there. So that's one. Then you've got another one here just like it. Okay, press down, so pull it there. There we go. Okay, that's 2. Then we've got our lock assembly here that we've got to pull loose, and it looks like there's just a little plastic clip here, a retaining clip. So I'm just going to use this screwdriver here. It's just trying to get a little bit of play on it to get it open.
This is why I let Scott do this stuff. I done tore it up.
You have to take this little black retainer clip out. But then once you do that, this little guy literally just slides out.
Right here's the plug-in.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring our table over. We'll set this on the table, and then we can work on it from there.
Let's try it
That's
now.
looking better. So guys, what we did here, just to bring you up to speed, is that both sides has this epoxy goop that they put this assembly together that puts the tub all together to the frame, and it has run out, and so that was the same thing over here. So we're trying to be able to make these uprights that Terry's going to go ahead and put in here now to fit. So we're just chiseling out that excess to where this will line right up with the screw holes. You can see there that we're getting we're still having to maneuver it a little bit, but we're almost there.
You gotta finesse it. This one here looks like it's been in, so we'll just move it out a little bit.
Yep.
That's why he was saying you had to fiddle with this stuff to get it to line up. Now, see right here, there's another little problem. See these little glue things? See there's glue right there? That's why it won't go in there.
There we go.
So we'll knock it out.
Okay guys, so what Terry's getting ready to do here is he's going to actually use a die grinder to kind of clean up all the little burrs that are in here, which is causing the upright not to be able to fit in there. Now if you don't have a die grinder, you can just take your time like we were doing down here, and we just use a hammer or chisel just to chisel it away. But Terry doesn't like beating on the car, so he decided to go ahead and want to do it this way. So he's going to use a little more finesse this way, but if you don't have one, you don't need it.
Let's see what we got now. This is the left, yeah.
So you can see what he's actually doing here is he's trying to make sure that all the holes line up and that it fits behind those little ears. And you can see here that now that he's ground that down, looks like it's going to actually fit.
There's that one. There's that one. There you go.
It lines up just like a glove. There we go.
That's a lot better.
We're gonna do that.
Epoxy is tough.
Yeah, that's some tough stuff. That's for sure. So now we just got to do that on the other side, and then we can start building our little erector set to build the bridge for the wing.
There's a little bit on this side, but not as much as it was over here. I'm going to use the die grinder to cut this off instead of chiseling it this time, just for the way I want to do it.
Okay.
But like I said, if you don't have this kind of tools at home and you want to do this, a chisel, just a nice sharp chisel, and just keep working it and it'll split it off, and it won't bother any of the other gluing points as far as hitting it with a chisel, breaking it loose or anything. This stuff is tough.
Yeah.
So just cutting it off is what I want to try to do.
Okay.
Get this out of my way. Why don't you just hold it up there? Like
I can hold it up in the air. Okay.
To move out. Yeah, there we go. I don't think I can get close enough right there.
Okay.
Let me try it.
Well, this might be the point where you do the hammer and chisel, right?
Yeah. Well, unless you want to take all of this off and all that stuff. See, this thing's just in the way of me getting it there.
Yep.
I can work this way.
Well, we can.
This one here.
And these can come off, Terry. It's only a couple bolts here to take this off. It's only a couple more bolts, a couple more 10mm bolts.
Let's try it and do it right.
So we can do that.
Yeah,
so there's a 10mm right here, which I'll pull this one off for him. All right.
That might be all you need.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Now hold that up.
So that gets that out of the way, and then he can get in there.
I'm just looking at that clip right there.
Yep, that little tab's probably going to be in your way, it looks like, huh?
Well, let's just see if we can snap it in there. Like, there we go. Well, no, I got to just to cut the corner of that tab off. But let's see how the holes line up. We're all good with these holes.
Yep.
So all I got to do is just cut that with just a pair of shears. We'll be good.
So yeah, so both these little tabs.
They're actually, all these tabs are actually for is to hold this in place while all this glue and this vent.
Yeah, it's probably to be able to replace that vent on that one. Yeah, most likely it's probably an air vent into the car.
You know what it is? It's when you open the door, when you slam the door in the car.
When you slam the trunk
inside on a C5.
Yep.
You can't shut the door without rolling the window down.
That's exactly what that is, guys. You hear that? You see that?
Release.
That's pretty cool. I didn't even realize that's what it was.
Now let's see what we got going on here. Okay, that's out of the way. That's out of the way. That one's out of the way. That's all good.
Yep.
Now we'll clean it up and then we'll put it together, and we could screw them on right now.
Yep. All right, guys, just to recap here. So what we had to do is we pulled these out just a little bit, these ears just out a little bit so we can get behind here. And then we had to go ahead and grind. Either you're going to use a die grinder and grind this off, or you're going to use a hammer and chisel these little pieces of glue or epoxy out of the way. So you can go ahead and you can put this up inside there like so. So your screw holes are going to mount up. Okay. So then you do that on this side also. So this is your tire pressure monitor here, and we're going to relocate that. We're just going to pull it loose for right this second. We're just kind of scoot it out of the way, and we're going to put this bracket in its place. Now the other thing that I wanted to talk about too is that you should have seen that we clipped a little bit of these ears on this vent so it'll make room for this. So we're sliding this in, making sure that our wire is to the outside edge here so we're not pinching any wires, and we're going to pinch that, get that in there like so. You'll be able to see if you've got all of your stuff chiseled out of the way that the holes will actually line up. If you're fighting it and it keeps wanting to go squirrely on you, then you need to chisel out some more of this epoxy. Okay, so once you've got that done, then we can start taking the rest of our assembly here and we can start putting the pieces together. This is the being able to have to get it stuck into here and to here. This is why you can't just take this whole assembly and just bolt it on. You've got to go piece by piece. One of the other things that we're going to have to do next here is, once we get our bolts started, is that we're going to have to drill these two rivets out. And these will become bolts that get bolted all the way through to the back side of the car. And what that's for is for this bracket right here, this one and this one, that will actually, they go through and this bracket will be bolting into these two screws, and then the big bolt will go right through into the passenger compartment, or the trunk compartment. Okay, and then once we have those two uprights there on there, then we can start to put the cross member on and then the support pieces. Okay, so that's what we're doing next.
When you get these things, the holes, it's been powder coated. So there's powder coat inside these threads. If you get it, just a tap and just trace them before you put it together, it'll be a lot easier getting all the nuts and bolts and stuff together. Just run a tap through it, and it cleans out all the powder coat and stuff.
Now Terry's showing off here with all of his wonderful machinery that he's got. But if you're like me in your garage, right, you probably don't. Yeah, you don't have that, right? So what you can do before you go to try to reassemble it is that you can take one of the screws and you can just take your time and turn it back and forth. Maybe use a little WD-40 in there and loosen it all up and trace it out that way. So you don't have to use the awesome tools that he has.
Well, I'm an Okie. That's how we used to do it. I got smart though.
So yeah, I mean, obviously Terry is doing it the right way, but you know, like I said, I'm not going to run down to the store to do that. So if you have it, great, do it. If not, then one of the screws should work for you fine. Just don't force it. So I've already taken this one upright and I've just put the screws in here like so. I'm going to do the same thing over on this side. It's like this. Now, these screws here are the gold screws that are in your kit. Okay, you're going to be using almost all the chrome screws that are the Allen wrench. These are actually Phillips and also 10 millimeter, but they're gold in color. So this way you'll know which ones to use where. Now I'm just starting these is all I'm doing. Okay, getting them ready here. And we'll leave everything loose until we get the rest of our parts together, and then we'll start tightening everything up as we start to get it all built.
Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to drill these two rivets out.
There you go.
Okay, this is the next brackets that you want to put on.
On this particular one, you just saw Terry drill out that rivet. So these are getting 2 of the chrome bolts, and then there's another chrome bolt that's longer. There's only 2 of those in your kit, so it'll make it easy for you to understand which ones those are. You're just going to use that with a washer.
Okay, now I got a washer and a nut.
Okay, and then another washer and a nut.
And we're going to leave all this stuff just kind of snugged up because we want to make sure that everything's lined up when we put it all together. Okay, now we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. You there? I've got the washer. Okay. Okay, that one's tight. And that one's tight. Okay. We're going to take one at a time. I'm going to take one of these bolts out, these little ones, and put a little Loctite on each one. I'm going to use blue so it doesn't get too carried away. I only need a drop or so on it. Okay. Next piece we're going to do, if you look down here, this is how all of this goes together, right here. And these go on top of here, like so. Okay, now, there's got 3 holes here. This one here goes to the back of the mount. You got to make sure that you have this going the right way, like so. And this goes onto here, and the 3rd hole is in the back.
You'll actually see the little riser will actually be leaning toward the back of the car. You're just getting these little guys started here, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just something to hold it up there. And one thing I want to check before we get anything else, start mounting it, I want to make sure that this is level.
Okay. Yeah, so before you tighten up the screws, get it all nice and level. And Dr. Terry, here you go.
I'm wiping the stuff off for you, Scott.
Hey, thank you, Terry. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't want it to look blue like Jennifer's car.
Okay, we're good.
So we're level?
Yep.
All right.
And I want to use this one to tighten them up. Okay. Here is going to go in like so. And we'll take some more of these and a little blue goop. You know what? I want to kind of leave these loose just to make sure all these holes line up.
Yep.
Okay, let's take this guy.
Can I help you at all? Okay.
I just got to get my fat hands working, that's all. And with this guy here. Yeah. Okay. All right. Tighten them up.
Oh, that lined right up, didn't it?
Of course, I was doing it.
So guys, this is pretty well done. We've only got one more thing to do. We've got some bolts here we've got to tighten up.
Yeah.
And we've got to put a couple rivets down here in the bottom. So now it's just a matter of tightening everything up. And I don't know, Terry, did you already check level on that? I think you did,
Yeah,
but
I did. We can do it again.
okay.
Hang on, let me get it on the bar.
I'd say that's pretty darn level, don't you?
I don't know, you're looking at it.
It looks like it.
Okay.
All right. So now, at this point, we've just got our two rivets to put in on each side down here.
Mm-hmm.
And then we need to put our bumper piece back in place.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Let me hold that up there.
There you go.
All right.
Yep. We can put this back on.
Yep, we're going to put this bottom bumper piece back on.
Okay, here's one. I got one. Here's one. You got one down there somewhere?
One, I think it's still in it. Yep.
Okay, let's see what we can do here. There you go. Okay, got another one here somewhere. Okay, tighten both these. And
Okay.
It's got little clips in it. Okay. There we go. Okay, and then we have them 2 bolts or nuts.
2 nuts right here. So we didn't lose any. Didn't lose any structural support at all.
Nope.
Awesome.
All there.
Okay.
It's actually pretty good.
Our wires are there. Our wires are there. Looks like we're good there.
Cables here.
Yep, that's there. Yep, that's good. Let that
So now
hang.
we have to put this piece on now, which is the new third light and stuff.
Right, and that's what has to come over and be removed. Okay. We have to take the old one off of the car, off the bumper, and then put the new one on, and then we start digging into the bumper. Guys, this isn't nerve-wracking. The piece that we're about to do is nerve-wracking. Now, Terry had the great idea to just double-check that just to see, but you can see here that our holes are lining up, so that's a good sign.
That's a good sign so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
So now what we have to do is we have to mount this on the panel and make these holes and cut these holes.
Correct.
Take the lights out now so that we can take that. That way we can get to the bolts that are... You know what, this is a lot easier doing it like this than behind the car.
I know it is, huh?
Okay.
Gives you guys a little bit better view, too, of what
you
we've done.
You get to see things. Put these in the middle, that's what they're for. You want to unplug that too, that light?
Yep.
Is that the same?
It's the same thing, guys. So this has got a plug on it that you actually pull the little guy back, okay? And then you can, if I can do this one-handed here, maybe I can get John to hold the camera for me here. All right. There we go. So if you pull it back and it's loose, then you can get right in the middle of it and release it. So it's just like all the other plugs. You just have to, when it's locked, I don't know if it'll lock without it being plugged in, it won't, but you pull it backwards, and then that allows the black to fit in between the 2 red, like a little cavity there in between the 2 red marks. And then at that point you can push down with your thumb and it'll pull out. Okay, so we're actually going to be, I think this actually can stay there just like that. And we don't have to, with this kit, we don't have to do any wiring or cutting into the wiring. The new brake light that's going to go into its place actually plugs right into the factory harness. So guys, what we're about to do here is we're going to end up pulling our factory spoiler off. Now it wouldn't matter whether we had a Z51 spoiler all the way up to a stage 3. This all comes apart exactly the same, okay? We're going to take all this loose, and then we're going to take the new cap that we have that has the holes already for the risers, and we're going to put that back in place here. We're also going to have to remove the 3rd brake light. Once we get those in place, we'll be able to see exactly where the holes are, and we'll be able to mark those with a marker. And then at that point, we're going to have to drill those holes out through the top of the bumper, and that's what I was talking about, where it starts to get a little sketchy. The good part about it is that if you keep yourself without getting crazy with your drill and stuff, and you stay within the lines, if in the event that you've put this real expensive splitter on or a spoiler on, and you decide you're going to trade your car in or something like that, and you don't want to have it on, you want to move it to another car, or whatever it may be, you'll be able to do that, and you can take your original spoiler and you can put it right back on, and it will cover the holes that we're about to create in this thing. So that's the good part. So you just need to be careful about what you're about to do. But that way, this bottom piece is going to be your template, so you can actually cut the holes. And I don't care how many times you do it. Every time I cut a hole, drill a hole in my car, I freak out. So anyway, I shouldn't say freak out, but it never gives me the warm fuzzy feelings, that's for sure.
The stud and everything must come out.
We put them in, so.
You put them in. This wasn't my stuff.
This is all my.
This is
all
your
my.
stuff.
Yeah, okay, that's all my fault. All right, I'll take it out.
It's your stuff.
Well, yours is next.
Huh?
Yours is next, right?
Well, one of these days. Okay.
All right. All right. So,
Okay.
And then here comes the third brake light. Okay. Just like that. So we've got our new cap, and we removed the other spoiler, and we've just set the cap on. And so what we're going to do is we got started the nuts. We're going to tighten those up, and then that's going to give us the marking in here, so we know exactly where we have to cut our bumper. Okay, so and then that way we'll have to drill through it, which will then we'll have to cut a hole into the backing of what was the third brake light holder. Okay, so you can see over here, Terry's over here. He's marking the inside of the bumper like that.
Okay. And the other thing is you got to cut some off the backside.
Yes,
also,
yeah, we
right?
do. So when we drill through here with the drill to be able to get our square, it's going to go out through the back side of the third brake light holder.
Let's take it off and decide how we want to do this.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So now, as you guys can see right here, this is what's going to have to get cut out. Okay. Now this kind of makes me feel a lot better, because I realized that we were going to have to cut this bumper, and it really kind of scared me, the fact that you were going to potentially have the chance of being able to see it. But if we stay within the inside of that black line, even if we had to put the other bumper back on, you'll never see it. And you're going to hit that third brake light in the back. You're going to go all the way through it.
You want to go through it?
You're going to have to, yeah. Okay.
It's a crude way of doing this.
Yes, it is.
Okay, now.
But with the fact that this third brake light is heat, like heat welded, that electro, what do you want to call it, electro weld or whatever it is, ultrasonic weld, is that what it is? There's no really way of taking this apart,
No, you can't.
right, to be able to cut it nice and pretty. So
Now, let me see if I can do this right here.
you're almost there. There we go.
Okay.
Now that he's got the preliminary hole cut through there, he's just going to kind of clean it up. This is driving him crazy that it looks terrible. Even though you're not going to see this underneath the cover. There you go.
Yeah, I think a little bit right in here though.
Okay.
Because you don't want it real tight because you won't be able to get the cover on it.
Right.
And I think that's good enough for us to start with, and we can clean it up as we go. Let's go see if I can mess up this side.
Let's hope not. Well, let's just take a look at it first. Okay. Let's just see what we got. Okay. Set it up on the box there. Okay. Oops, sorry, Terry. All right. This puts it up here, guys, so we can actually maneuver. So what we're going to do, this way we can put our plug back in. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but this goes in there, and there's a little slot that this slides into, like so. There we go. Now we got our little black tab. I don't know if you can see that. Get my fingers out of the way. There we go. So you can see right there.
Okay.
That just slides in, and then this tab holds this in place. Sorry for it being dark sometimes, guys. It's just, this is tough getting into this stuff and get my body out of the way. So that literally just plugs in like so. If I can get it to snap, I think I was actually, there we go. It goes there like that, and you push that forward, and that locks it in place. And then we've got two more plugs. We've got our main harness here. Make sure we get this plugged in the right way. Like that. Then press our tab in. And then we've got one more here. And that goes in like so. And push the tab in. And we're good there. Okay.
Now the fun starts.
Oh yes. Okay.
Lift it up and let me kick this box out so we got room to.
Okay.
Okay. Now I think we're gonna have to go in over like so. Okay, I'm over this one. You over that one.
I'm over that one. It looks like it's lining up, which is a good thing. And we are gotta get down there with the exhaust.
Okay.
That looks like that's lining up. So far, so good, guys. Okay. And now's my turn to be honoring. There we go.
Go in there?
Yep.
There we go. Now let me tighten these down.
Before we go any further, we need to go ahead
And put
and
these
put
screws
all
in.
of these screws into the trunk. Yeah.
Okay, let me tighten this down with this one.
This side here, all the screw holes are lining up. That's lining up. That's lining up. Believe it or not, they're lining up. Everything's on, dude.
Do it?
Yep. Alright. So, there is a screw. It's right up in here. I don't know if, John, I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to let you see if it get close. You can see that screw right there, guys? Or that hole? That's right there. That's what we're going to put that screw together, and that's good. That's going to tighten that fender back up. Okay? And that little guy right there is the whole reason that we had to pull all this trim off.
Yeah.
Now, if some of you guys, Terry and I have done some of these for some of our customers, and they've had the smoke taillight covers on them. If you have them on, you're going to have to take those off before you can get that trim off. I didn't talk about that in the very beginning, but it just happened to, just a memory just hit me. So you'll need to pry those off, and sometimes those things are not easy to get off. So if you haven't put those on and you're thinking about doing that, do that after you get done with this, because it's going to save your life a whole bunch of hassle. Okay?
Alright. Okay, now we're going to take and put these stanchions on. And you just got to get them lined up.
So guys, this fit like a glove. We didn't have to edit anything like this. We put that bumper on and those things lined right up. You can see right there as Terry's tightening up the other one. But look at that. That just lines right up when you put the bumper on. So their calculations as far as all the dimensions, they're right on.
It'd be nice to have a ball socket to do
Yeah,
this one side right here.
That would be good,
It'd
yeah.
be nice. So that's why I got to fiddle with it a little bit, because I can't get but maybe 1/8 of an inch of a turn.
The reason being, guys, this one actually comes out like that. It's the left side. The right side's going to do the same thing.
Before I want to tighten all these down, I want to put the wing on.
If you notice too, guys, you can see probably right here, there's two different positions for the back pin for the wing. Yeah, let's get this more level. There we go. That should be
That should be a level one right
there. There we go. So guys, I'm going to show you here in the camera. This is what he's putting together. That's two screws, but they sandwich together. They go into each other and they tighten up, and that's what pinches the wing and the bracket together. Wow. Everyone thinks I'm nuts for putting this on the car, but man, I'm going to have to pull into the garage just a little bit more now, though.
Okay, let me take and tighten these things down.
Okay.
While I'm here. The reason I didn't tighten these all at once and then try to put the wing on, because a little bit of play, then if it's too tight, it'll make up for it.
Well, the wing almost sticks out as far as my mirror. I don't think it's going to cause any visual interference through here. I'll probably be able to see out of this one actually better than my stage 3, to be in all reality, right? I mean, because you're looking out through this area. So now some of you guys are probably also looking at this. It has the different third brake light. When Extreme showed me this, I went down to their headquarters there in Fremont, and they showed me showed me one of these, and he showed me the third brake light, and I'm like going, oh man, the wing looks awesome, but I don't know about the third brake light. It doesn't look like a C7 brake light. So not that it looked bad, but it just looked different. And so so when I got home, I started looking and really paying attention, because I just never have paid attention to the ZR1 taillight of all things, or the brake light. Looks exactly the same. If you pull one up, you look at it, you can go, okay, yeah, it looks exactly the same. So if you even had that thought come across your brain, don't worry about it. It looks exactly the same. Well, guys, do me a favor. Put your comments in the comments section. I'd love to be able to hear what you think about it. Good or bad, I can handle it. I got thick skin. So if you like it, give me a thumbs up. Tell me what you think. If you don't, well, don't leave any comment. I don't want to hear that. No, I'd like to hear you guys' comments to see what you think. I'm sure Extreme would love to be able to know this too. I'm guessing that they will have this ready for sale for probably in the next month or two. So there's we really didn't, he was expecting us to find, look for and find any little flaws that in the kit. And I can tell you, it just went together. I mean, Terry and I, we put the pieces together up on the table, and went right together. And then, as you saw on the camera, they just went together. We thought we might have to waller something out, just to get things where there's a little more very precision, and it fit. It just flat out fit. So I'm very tickled with that. So yeah, the only other thing I could think to do, this is in carbon flash, which matches my ZR1 carbon flash front splitter. And I know Extreme is watching this, so I would love to see them do, they already have the side skirts in carbon fiber. I'd love to see this wing and the front splitter done in carbon fiber. That would be awesome. So just a food for thought, guys.
It's a nice piece. I mean, I like all the fittings and the brackets. It's all nice stuff.
Yeah, I mean, considering this is a prototype, yeah. I mean, this is the second one ever made that Extreme put together. And there's one on his personal Z06, and then there's this one. And he wanted us to go through it, look at it, see if there was anything that we could help them come up with an idea on improving it. I mean, there really isn't. I mean, the hardware that it came with is top notch. As you can see, the fitting of the thing, everything just lined up perfect. I mean, we're not over there having to fudge it. When we put the level on it, there's so many different spots that the brackets could have been out of whack, and it wasn't. It was just dead on right from the get-go. So you couldn't ask for a better fit. So anyway, enough of that for now. But I mean, it just came out really, really well.
All right.
Well, let's close the hood or close the trunk. Let's see what we got here. Wow.
Here, back it out here so you can see it.
Wow. Yeah, it looks awesome. It really looks awesome.
If you want aggressive there, you got aggressive.
You got aggressive, huh? Yeah.
All right.
So guys, hopefully you found this video helpful and informative. I know it was a long video, but I needed to be able to cover all of the aspects of being able to do the bracketry inside that bumper and show you just how good of a setup this is. I am so tickled with how this came out, and the quality is just top notch. I drove it about 100 miles and the wing doesn't even move. I've ran it all the way up to about 100 miles an hour, and there is like absolutely nothing going on here. It just stays on the road just fine, and there's just no vibration. It looks great, and it's not flopping all over the place. I just totally love it. So anyway, I want to take a second just to be able to thank my sponsor, Extreme Online Store, for supplying this to me. I'm super excited that I'm one of just a few people that actually have one of these, and hopefully I'll be checking their website here really soon. You're going to see this out there. So it's soon to come. So if you want to get one for yourself, man, I tell you what, this is what you want to do. This, to me, looks great. Jennifer told me in the very beginning that she's like, man, I think this is going to be too much wing for that car. And after she saw it on the car, she totally loves it. So anyway, guys, I just again want to thank you for watching the show. I appreciate it. Those of you that have already subscribed to the channel, thank you so much. For those of you who are just watching it for the very first time, I really appreciate you watching. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed and you hit that bell so that way you'll be alerted of our next uploads. And guys, I just want to thank you again for watching, and you guys have a great night.